Sometimes I don't know if I'm waking up or going crazy. Tonight I dedicated my jog to a friend who passed away, and also to many people who I've met on my path. And I really began to tap in and give it my all for these people and for myself and for the world. And I began to have all these remembrances and realizations. And so it kind of started with connecting to who I was as a kid and the fire I felt inside, the magic, the imagination, and a drive. I knew ever since I was a kid that there was more. Something was going on. I believed fully in magic. I was very aware of it, and I knew that I had a big purpose. I knew that I had to be training for something, but I didn't know what. And I followed my intuition and began dancing and filming at such a young age, and working out, being active, learning things. And of course along the way I got lost, as we all do, really forgetting who I was in order to remember my purpose and my true self. So I began to remember those feelings as a kid. It all came rushing back. And those moments where you would know that you had power and control, and you would try and you would practice it, and sometimes it would work, but usually it wouldn't work. But it's like anything, it takes practice. You don't get it on the first try. But I didn't have patience, so I thought that it wasn't real then. And then over time, the practice started to pay off, and I started to notice that things were happening within my control. And so I connected to how I felt as a kid, and I connected to that fire and that purpose, and remembered. And I also remembered how we're all creators. We all have this power. And so during this jog, I felt like I had more energy than usual. I went on the same jog a week ago and I couldn't keep up. But this week, I just kept jogging the full 5 miles around the lake, and I didn't stop. And I was running and I was thinking about how I experience things so strongly, emotions and feelings, and life seems to affect me more than the average human, and I have trouble connecting with others, the majority of most people. And I was just wondering why I feel things so intensely. And I began to remember this theory about how, like, we're all connected, but on a deeper level, to the fact that, say, if you believe in multiple lives or reincarnation, you come back and experience consciousness as every entity and creature on earth. And everything is alive, so you experience this world as every plant and every animal and every human. And that's why we're all so strongly connected. even though some of us don't even know it. And that's why everything we do is so important. But a lot of people don't want to take this responsibility. And so this theory that we experience consciousness is every living thing is basically the theory of reality, the theory of God. And that's why we are all creators. That's why we are all God. And God is love. And that's what we all are at the rawest form. So I was remembering this theory, and then I also remembered another theory that I've had myself. I've heard other people say this theory, and it's also reoccurring in shows and books and movies, I think. Anyway. So I'll get to that in a minute, but relating this theory to the one I was just referencing. So what if we experience each consciousness, but this is the last one? This is it. We've experienced every one. This is the pinnacle point. And that's why we're experiencing everything so intensely. And then I've wondered this before too, so my next theory that I've heard others mention too is that what if things as they are going now, what if they already happened and things got really fucked up? We continue heading down the path that we're heading down to global domination, extinction, killing all of life on planet Earth, making it uninhabitable. And what if, in the future, us, or other races in the galaxies even, have perfected technology and time travel, and they sent people back? They sent people back to change the outcome, to save humanity, Earth, nature, existence. And that's why it feels like it's happened before. That's why it feels like this is the pinnacle moment, the last life, the apocalypse. And it also feels like a global takeover. And I could go on about this, but hundreds, thousands of years ago, humans weren't like this. We lived harmoniously with the universe. We weren't born to just work, enslave, and die of old age. We had conquests, we fought battles, we went on expeditions. It was amazing for humans. We would do things we never thought were possible, and we would reach levels next to godliness, and then we would die in honor. And now it's completely sucked away, and instead we're replaced with screens and junk food, constantly distracting us, and drugs, constantly distracting us from what's really going on, the end of the world, extinction. We're given and we're like easily tricked creatures, so we're given all these tools, all these comforts to tune out. So most of us, even if we're aware this is happening, we hide away in our little comfort bubbles while the world ends around us. And then some of us, all of us, but some of us more than others, I think, were given to these tools of creators of manifestors, a power. And how are you going to use that power? Are you going to use it for own self-gain? Or are you going to use it to save the world like you know? You can. We all can. Because that's what we're here for. And especially people are drawn to each other, especially people who are on similar paths like this one. And they're drawn to each other by frequencies, maybe by music, by dance, by art, by gatherings. And so the people I always meet are aware of these things, are on similar paths, are, of course, strong people, strong creators, strong manifestors. And so we're drawn together. And what if, like, especially shufflers, so what if shufflers are these futuristic warriors here to save the world? I know it's a long shot and I'm risking sounding crazy, but I don't know. I suck at talking to the camera. I'm just trying to talk like I'm talking to a good friend, explaining some of the stuff that I just thought about. And so I was thinking about that, and then I came around the corner and I had another realization that this, like, we are all here we have different powers, we have different capabilities, we have different stuff that we're bringing to the table. And I'm finally coming into my power, and I realize this reoccurring situation, occurrences, predominant occurrences almost. Those aren't necessarily the right words for it, but anyway, it keeps happening where I'll meet someone who's not tuned in and at all, and then we'll start hanging out, and without even like saying anything, they'll start waking up to all this stuff and start tuning in, and then we won't be part of each other's lives anymore. They'll go on their own way and I'll go on my way. It's almost like, and I'll take them out of their situation, kind of mix up their whole life, and then in the same, for me too even, we'll teach each other and then go along our ways. So it's almost like a path for me is taking people out of their current bad situations and setting them free into a new one. And meanwhile, it wakes up some sort of energy, some sort of magic, some sort of telepathy even. So it keeps happening where I'll have this telepathic communications with individuals, and I'll wake it up in them, and then keep going on with my life. So it's like a power almost. And like I said, I think we're all connected and telepathic, and we all have this power. And I have notes. So I had those thoughts, but I'm not trying to get out of control with the ego, because it's like, yes, these things are true. So it's like, we are everything. I am everything. You are everything. But I am everything, but I am also nothing. I am creator. I am in control, but I also have no control. I'm creator, but I also have no control. It's totally out of control. Having a hard time speaking again. So it's utter perfection and utter chaos existing inside of us and outside of us, internally and externally at all times. We are all beautiful and we are all ugly. We are all connected and knowledgeable, and we also know nothing. And this is when I knew that it felt like a book or a movie or a documentary, and I had to start this. And this is the beginning. It's the beginning of the end of everything. And then the other thing I realized is that there will be people that will come across your path if you're a light worker and a warrior trying to save the world. There'll be lots of people, and they'll come in forms of beautiful, alluring people that are demons and that want to take away your shine and bring you down to the dark level and stop you from your path. That's just what I've experienced. So, at the end of this, I guess I realized the key is following your intuition, tapping into your truer higher self, and using each moment to create ourselves, our reality, and choosing to take responsibility.